Just wanted to send some information over here that I have permission to send over from a Tracy Hereford Crewy. Don't know if I said your name correctly, if not, but a big meow coming from the Empress alerted me to this Facebook page here, and I've joined, and I encourage you all to join the Lucy Letby Moment of Truth. I am not a building engineer or sewage anything, but oh my God, does this ring a real truth here? And just an FYI, Florence Nightingale was a designer of hospitals back in the 19th century, and she even said, keep the sewage as far away as you can from the patient's ward. She designed hospitals so it's like wherever the sewage was would be like in kind of like, you know, the building next door situation. The ward was here, that section of the building is here, and then the sewage went in a total different compartment. So there was even no excuse for the Countess of Chester to have been built the way it was in the 1970s, because back in the 1870s, 1880s, good old Florence was saying, So this is just absolutely incredible. I also just want to alert you all to Operation Merlin Falcon. I'm hoping that he could see this video also. Fellow American shout out. Wonderful job. Those wonderful pictures he highlighted of the sewage leaks on the ceiling and the fact that there was no ventilation. So this will be part one, and I will go back to part two. Again, I'm just going to read this to you for people that just, you know, are just listening. This is an incredible article. Again, I have no building engineering experience at all, but boy, this has a ring of truth to me. And again, anything that I am saying, if you have a difference of opinion, please, by all means, go ahead and comment. So anyhow, Lucy Letby, the moment of truth, the hidden danger in Chester's neonatal unit, manholes, sewage leaks, and toxic gas. Why did so many fragile babies collapse on the Countess of Chester Hospital ward in 2015 and 16, but almost none in the colder months? The truth may not be in mystery attacks, but the building itself. Manholes under the nursery. Blueprints show that the women's and children's building, built in 71, had active foul drainage manholes directly beneath the neonatal unit. These weren't small pipe access points. They were central junction chambers where waste from staff toilets, nurseries, washrooms, all converged. Instead of being outside in a service yard as modern rules require, I think also Florence Nightingale, they sat under cots and incubators. The Chester situation is unusual. The Women and Children's Building, built in 71, is legacy design, predating modern infection control rules. Now, I'm going to call bullshit on that because Florence had specific building requirements about 100 years before, so they knew better. So at that time, it was common for manholes to be inside footprints with access covers in corridors or even rooms. Oh man, that is scary. Today, this would not be allowed. A full drainage reroute should have been done according to inside sources. They remained throughout the time of the deaths. This means that the Chester NICU may have been one of the very few, if not the only, currently active neonatal units in the UK with internal active manholes under clinical areas before they moved the unit after Lucy's arrest. Modern neonatal units post-2000 builds or refurbishments do not have manholes or inspection chambers within the clinical footprints. And I think that's 100 years too late. Absolutely. Florence would agree with me. NHS building notes, neonatal care, make it clear that foul drainage should not pass through or be accessible within patient care spaces. The standard layout is foul drainage pipes run under slab or ceiling voids, fully sealed. Inspection chamber manholes are located outside the building envelope, usually in a courtyard, plant yard, or external access zone. In high-risk areas, NICUs, theaters, burns, ICU, no foul drainage inspection points are allowed inside the clinical zones. Sewage leaks. Over the years, there were multiple sewage leaks in the unit. Each leak meant sewage seeped into the foundation, making it easier for toxic gases to escape back up into the wards. Hydrogen sulfide, the silent killer. Produced by sewage breakdown, rotting organic matter. Smells like rotten eggs at low levels, but at higher level, it paralyzes a sense of smell, meaning you don't notice it anymore. Heavier than air. Sinks, then builds up and rises during leaks, filling the room up to the cot height. Neonatal risk. Preterm babies have immature lungs, tiny oxygen reserves, and immature detox systems. Hydrogen sulfide binds to cytochrome enzymes in cells. It stops energy production. Therefore, it's going to lead to a collapse, a seizure, a coma, or a death. Even very low exposure causes mottled skin, apnea, and rapid deterioration, which mirrors what the staff described. Why staff didn't collapse? Where adults were breathing higher up and can tolerate low exposures much better. Some may have had mild headaches or nausea, but dismissed it. This could explain why fragile babies collapse while staff remain largely unaffected. Airborne infection risks. It wasn't just gas. Sewage also carries Pseudomonas, Klebsiella, adenoviruses, and aerosolized pathogens. Number 2, infection control and pathogen spread. Aerosolization, drainage, turbulence, or leaks can aerosolize bacteria, viruses into the air. Backflow leaks, which basically causes sewage leaks under a slab that would cause mold, enteric bacteria, and resistant pathogens. Healthcare-related infections. NICUs are already high risk. They have preterm babies and low immunity babies. Drainage defects increases outbreak risks, such as example Pseudomonas and Klebsiella. And Klebsiella is one scary bacteria. It's just about as scary as Pseudomonas, and it's high. You get a lot of Klebsiella in hospital sewage. Now, red risk ignored. Under NHS estate rules, foul drainage inside an augmented care unit like a NICU would be immediate red risk. Modern NHS guidance forbids manholes in patient areas due to the risk of gas exposure. The problems with relying on quote-unquote sealed manholes in clinical areas. Well, there's a seal failure. Rubber gaskets degrade over time, bolts corrode, lids get disturbed during maintenance. Gas pressure. Even small defects can let hydrogen sulfide, methane, or ammonia escape. Infection control. NHS technical memoranda expect foul drains to be routed outside clinical areas. Maintenance contradiction. A manhole's purpose is access. If you properly seal it, it is no longer serviceable, which defeats the reason it exists. Now, why are neonates extra vulnerable versus adults? They have a small tidal volume and immature lungs. Basically, tidal volume is kind of the air in, air out kind of situation. And so they have a faster toxic absorption. They absorb things faster. They have a high metabolic demand. Basically, their body is under a lot of stress. They have a high metabolic. The smaller the creature, the kind of the higher metabolic versus kind of I think a surface area thing. So even small microbial exposure can cause sepsis. This timeline tells a story. June 2015, 4 babies collapsed, 3 died. August 2015, 2 babies, 1 death. October 15, 1 baby, death. November to January, almost no deaths. June 16th, 4 babies, 2 deaths. Pattern, clusters in summer heat, lull in the winter cold, then another spike in the summer. Does that not go? Did not go? Exactly what you expect of sewage gas release increased with warm weather. The real question, why was the structural hazard overlooked while blame was placed elsewhere? Combine that with seasonal heat, would increase bacterial gas output, and poor a poor ward ventilation spacing, and the risk of multiples. This wasn't just bad luck, it was foreseeable, preventable, and dangerous by design. So I'm going to do another video with more information. Again, basically, if we could sum it up in one thing, shit plus heat kills. Bye-bye.